Shabbat Shalom. Page 10. Yedid nefesh av harachaman mishach avdecha eretzonecha yarutz avdecha kimo layal ishtachaveh el mul adarecha ye'eravo yedidutecha menof etzuf v'chov ta'am yala lai 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 yala lai 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 yala lai 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 yala lai 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 yala lai 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 yala lai 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 lai lai
Good evening, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So wonderful to see everybody this evening as we gather together in prayer and in meditation and in song. Also welcome to those who are live streaming. We're delighted to know that you are with us. I used to say during those days when I was doing Torah study by myself during COVID in the Heartsmark room, I would always say to people, it's nice to be seen. And that's the way this is. But we all join together from whatever place to acknowledge and celebrate our strength as a community. We're going to continue now with the lighting of our Shabbat candles. It's my pleasure to welcome forward Bert Margolis, who celebrated his 90th birthday this past Sunday. Just wait for the applause when you celebrate 100.
If I can hear it.
I'll tell you what it is. Let me light this. You want to do it? Ooh, I got two of them, sorry. Uh-oh.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvos, commanded us to kindle the lights of Sabbath.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you very much.
We're going to continue now in our prayer books on page 8. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics and no services, but I need them. Let's continue together. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life. We continue now on page 20 with the singing of Lecha Dodi. We will sing verses 1, 2, and then 9. And just as we come to verse 9, I will raise you to face the door and welcome the Sabbath bride.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nikabela B'nei Shabbat nikabela Shamor v'zachor b'dibur Hishmianu El Hamyuchad Adonai Echad Ushemo Echad L'Shemu Tiferet U'Litilah Lecha Dodi Shabbat nikabela B'nei Shabbat nikabela likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelecha ki mikor habracha Merosh mikedem nisucha sof ma'aseh b'machsheva tchila Lecha Dodi likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nikabela B'nei Shabbat nikabela Boi v'shalom Ateret ba'ala Gam b'simcha u'b'tzoch olam Toch emuneh am segula Boi kala Lecha Dodi likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nikabela B'nei Shabbat nikabela Baruchu et Adonai Chamevorach Baruch Adonai Chamvarach Le'olam Vaed.
Continuing together, praise Adonai to whom praise is due forever. Praise be Adonai to whom praise is due now and forever. Continuing on page 33. As you taught Torah to those whose name I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kivod Malchuto, Le'olam Vaed.
Together. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever. You may be seated as we turn to page 36 for the chanting of the V'ahavta.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibart bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, וחיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך, ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Before we read the translation of the V'ahavta, just one quick comment. You know that when we are writing and we're about to give a list, we put a colon. Here's what we want to say, colon, and then we say it. I'm suggesting that we put a colon after you shall love the Lord your God. And then what follows is the what? What is it that we do to love God? How and why? As we read this together, see if you can see the answer to those three questions. What, how, and why? Let's read together. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand, and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am Adonai your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai your God, Adonai Elohechem Emet. Continuing now on page 43, let's read together. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rising up, waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu לשלום, לשלום. וחמידנו שומרנו לחיים. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. Amen. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all the harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. וחמידנו שומרנו לחיים. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך.
Continue now at the bottom of page 44. Those who keep Shabbat by calling it a delight will rejoice in your realm. The people that hallow Shabbat will delight in your goodness. For being pleased with the seventh day, you hallowed it as the most precious of days, drawing our attention to the work of creation.
ישמחו במלאכותיך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלאכותיך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. מקדשי שביעי שבת, כולם ישמחו ויתענגו מטובך שבת. ישמחו במלאכותיך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלאכותיך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. והשביעי רצית בו וקידשתו שבת. חמדני ימים אותו קראת שבת. ישמחו ישמחו במלאכותיך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלאכותיך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. זכר זכר למעשה בראשית שבת. זכר זכר למעשה בראשית שבת. ישמחו במלאכותיך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלאכותיך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת.
We turn now to page 46, and as you are able, I invite you to rise for the Amida.
Adonai, sifatai tiftach, ufi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imachot, U'mevii Geula livnei Vanechem, L'ma'an Shemo b'Yachava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah. Ata gibor leolam Adonai, mechayecha kol ata, rav lechoshia, morid hatal, mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechayecha kol berachamim rabim, somech noflim verofech olim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar michamocha ba'al gevurot umidor melech melech memit umechayeh umatzmiach Yeshua v'ne'eman ata l'chayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hakol אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יחללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
You may be seated. We continue now on page 60, page 61. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. Let's continue together. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamvarech et amo Yisrael, b'shalom.
Shalom Rav HaYisrael Amacha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav HaYisrael Amacha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav HaYisrael Amacha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav HaYisrael Amacha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'enecha levarech et amacha Yisrael b'chol het u'b'chol sha'a b'shlomecha. Shalom Rav HaYisrael Amacha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav HaYisrael Amacha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
now for silent prayer.
I pray you'll be our eyes and watch us as we go, and help us to be wise in times when we don't know. Let this be our prayer when we lose our way. Lead us to a place, guide us with your grace, to a place where we'll be safe. Oh, say shalom, bimromav, uyase shalom. Lead us to a place, guide us with your grace, give us faith so we'll be safe. V'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru b'imru.
Friends, as I'm sure you're well aware, we are now on the threshold of the high holidays, known to our tradition as the Yamim Noraim, the days of awe. Indeed, the idea of awe and its significance is signaled in one of the central elements of the Rosh Hashanah service, and I'm going to quote, "Let us proclaim the power of this day, a day whose holiness awakens deep awe." Indeed, it is a day of judgment when we are held responsible for our deeds, where we affirm in a powerful metaphor that it is in the book of life that every human hand leaves its mark. In other words, what we do matters. In other words, again, in this big, complex, and sometimes stupefying world of ours, I define my life, you define your life, in large part by our deeds, the things that I say and the things that I do. That's how I present who I am. And so on those days of awe, I look back on my behavior during the past year and try honestly to assess it. Make no mistake, it takes courage to do this. But if I can do it, then I try to reach for a judgment. I have sinned. I have transgressed. I have done wrong. In other words, I am all too human. But, and this is Judaism's greatest conviction, I am free. I am free to assess my deeds, not in order to wallow in my guilt, but to be honest with myself and to prepare for the next step, which is to have the courage to change, to question old habits, to resolve to do better this year, and in specific ways. I can indeed restore parts of my better self. I can return and begin again. The future, in other words, lies open before us. The future can be different. Teshuvah, that awesome word, awe, again, the awesome ability to return to first principles, the freedom to return to a kind of blank slate on which I can write my own future. Now, I want to point out to you that there is an alternative worldview of some power, a view that goes back to the very foundations of Western civilization. It was entertained by the Stoics, and in the modern world, entertained and argued for by the great, though problematic philosopher, Friedrich Nietzsche. Nietzsche's impact on subsequent thinkers and on the outflow of events was enormous. Now, it must be admitted that part of Nietzsche's impact has been deeply problematic, and it's certainly to be attributed to some of the doctrines he espoused, though part of that negative impact was due to the distortions of his very own sister. Like Yogi Berra, Nietzsche could well have said, "I never said everything that I said." But one thing he did say and promulgate was the potent doctrine of eternal recurrence, or the eternal return of the same. And at the root of this idea of Nietzsche's is another one, the notion of, in Latin, amor fati, which means to love my fate. Now, scholars disagree on exactly what Nietzsche meant by this idea, but one powerful interpretation suggests that what Nietzsche meant was this: that I must accept my destiny, that I must admit that much of my life is out of my control. And rather than fighting my destiny, I should, Nietzsche says, I should embrace it. And I should embrace it with joy. Or to put the matter another way, I should be able to will that were I to live another life, I would want nothing more than to live it all over again in just the same way in which I'm living it now. Amor fati. In order to be happy, I must love what fate has in store for me, and then I should accept it, and that I would will to change nothing. Here's how Nietzsche put it in one of his writings: my formula for greatness in a human being is amor fati, that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity, not merely to bear what is necessary, but not to conceal it, even from myself. And so here we have a kind of determinism, that free will is an illusion, that I am controlled by forces, social, economic, psychological, that are much larger than myself, and that I will be happier if I don't fight it, but just simply accept that this is a reality. And Nietzsche's insight, I think you may admit, does have a kind of plausibility, especially when the burdens of life bear down on us, when we feel overwhelmed and powerless, when we feel buffeted about by the forces that are beyond our control. And yet, this notion that I really can change nothing, and that therefore I should not want to change anyone, anything, is an idea that is deeply foreign to Judaism and to everything that we stand for. For Judaism insists that though our habits may be hard to break, and though the burdens of life sometimes overwhelm us, and then I feel that I can't change anything that I might want to change. Nevertheless, Judaism insists I can acknowledge my wrongdoing. Chatati. I have sinned. I can actually change my ways. And I can begin, not tomorrow, not the next day, not next week, but now, to begin to make some of the changes I acknowledge I need to make. And I am free to do so, in spite of all the forces that bear down on us. Destiny, what I have been, can have no hold on me whatsoever. Have I been too self-centered? I can change. Have I played fast and loose with the truth? I can change. In other words, the past is not necessarily prologue. The future can be new. That is why the biblical narrative, in its breadth and its length, describes covenant renewal of the promises and commitments that I made. It describes covenant renewal ceremonies over and over and over again. That is, were it easy to change on our own, the Bible could have dramatized the first covenant, the covenant at Mount Sinai, the first set of promises our ancestors made, and that would be the end of it. We would have said yes, and we would have needed no longer to return to that. But the very need for covenant renewal implies that it's hard to break old habits, and that it's hard to start down a new path. But that starting again is possible. That is why on Yom Kippur morning, we read the story of yet another moment of covenant renewal, this one from the end of Deuteronomy. You are standing here today, Atem Nitzavim Hayom. Think about to whom the word you refers. You are standing here today. Surely this instruction which I command you this day is not too baffling for you, nor is it beyond reach. It is not in the heavens that you should say, who among us will go up to the heavens and get it for us and impart it to us, that we may observe it finally. Neither is it beyond the seas that you should say, who among us will cross to the other side of the sea and get it for us and impart it to us, that we may observe it. No, the thing is very close to you. It is in your mouth and in your heart that you may do it. The days of awe are now upon us. They are justly described as the days of awe because, first, the days themselves have a powerful and stirring drama that proclaims that God and no one else is king, and that we inhabit an awesome universe. But it is also called the days of awe because of the awesome power of human freedom, one of the measures of our dignity, through which we dare to say, I have done wrong, and through which we have the courage to say, I can do better. At this point in our service, we always pause to think about those members of our families and circle of friends who are ailing at this point, ailing of body, of mind, of spirit. I'm going to read the names on the list that I have, and then I'm going to invite you to mention those about whom you are thinking. Andy Abel, Sasha Aber, Adele Adler, Daniela Kiva, Ro M. Allen, Eliana Amram, Robert Balanso, Arthur Beckerman, Lauren Berg, Leonard Bernstein, Justin Boyd, Judy Brookstein, Kevin Brown, Bonnie Chiswick, Angela Chuang, Barry Cott, Jean Davis, Jean Dreifert, Ella Dubrow, Babette Feibel, Michael Feldman, Sue Ellen Frank, Mary Freeman, Bodie Hayes Goldberg, Marilyn Goldfein, Randy Goldheimer, Aaron Gottlieb, Alan Granis, Nancy Granis, Anna Greenfield, Adrian Greenwald, Kara Greenwald, Judy Horvitz, Tema Isser, Jennifer Jacobs, Liam Jacobs, Brian Jeffries, Antoinette Karpinski, Aline Katz, Marina Kenny, Amy Kinslinger, David Loney, Suzanne Luria, Susan Maximum, Richard Moore, Bridget Neese, Michael Pensner, Paula Platt, Nancy Polk, Rich Resnick, Lauren Redding, Charles Chuck Ross, Edith and Levi Rubenstein, Ken Sapphire, Shelley Schloss, Linda Schneiderman, Steve Shackno, Gail Shapiro, Ronnie Simkoff, Barbara Steinfurst, Suzanne Tosh, Patricia Wagner, Ilse-Bill Wolf, Norman Zach, Eliza Bat Yitzchak, Chaim HaKohen Vazelda Jenny, Baruch ben Shlomo, Chaim ben Chana, David ben Moses Vabluma, Ephraim ben Naami, Ilana Oro bat Avraham Vasara, Miro bat Yakutiel Varachel, Mor bat Daphna, Mordechai ben Henya, Noam Raphael ben Tali, Reuven ben Yitta, Shana bat Yosel Varachel, Yochanan ben Shira Yisraela.
F. Scott Gray.
Let's continue now with the singing of the Misha Berach. You can find the words on page 253.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mikor Chabracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mikor Chabracha Lehavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Now I invite you to turn to page 282, and as you are able, please rise for the Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated.
There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light, long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us as we live our days. These are the ways we remember as we live our days. These are the ways we remember. יש כוכבים שאורם מגיע ארצה, רק אשר הם עצמם עבדו ואינם. יש אנשים שזיו זכרם מאיר, כאשר הם עצמם אינם עוד בתוכנו. אורות אלה המאביקים בחשכת הליל, הם שמרים לאדם את הדרך, את הדרך. הם שמרים לאדם את הדרך, את הדרך. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. We remember. We remember.
We turn now to page 292 as we prepare for the recitation of the mourner's Kaddish. When cherished ties are broken and the chain of love is shattered, only trust and the strength of faith can lighten the heaviness of the heart. At times, the pain of separation seems more than we can bear. But if we dwell too long on our loss, we embitter our hearts and harm ourselves and those about us. The psalmist said that in his affliction he learned the law of God. And in truth, grief is a great teacher when it sends us back to serve and to bless the living. We learn how to counsel and comfort those who, like ourselves, are bowed with sorrow. We learn when to keep silent in their presence, when a word will assure them of our love and our concern. Thus, even when they are gone, the departed are with us, moving us to live as in their higher moments they themselves wish to live. We remember them now, they live in our hearts, they are an abiding blessing. We think now of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. We think especially of those individuals who were laid to rest during the past 30 days, the period of Shloshim. Jerry Stern, Charlie Rose Sims Stout, Jackson Curti, Sharon Bornstein, Roger Lefkowitz, Judy Ehrenberg Rubin, Scott M. Berkowitz, Hilda Tettleman Epstein, Helen A. Leone, Linda Rosen, Dr. Alan Weisenberg, Fanny Faffy Wolfson. And I want to also read the list of the names that members of our congregation have called in to be read tonight. Robert J. Anthony, Evelyn Anthony, Denora Bialaski, Dorothy Kaplan, Jack Coven, Shirley Singer Felber, Joseph Felber, Minna Felder, Bernard Rich Hollander, Harry Husson, William H. Kahn, Rachel Leah Kendis, Eudice Cohn, Marvin Lerman, Max Mednick, Gary Melcher, May Messer, Dr. Sanford Press, Donald Schultz, Beatrice Epstein Starr, Pearl Stein, Charles Zucker. And you will find the names of those whose yahrzeits we are observing in your Shabbat handout. And now at this point, if anyone would like to mention the name of loved ones whose name has not just now been read, please take this opportunity to do so. And at this point, I would like to invite those who are observing the Shiva period, the first 7 days after the death of a loved one, if you wish to please rise. Those who are observing the Shloshim period, the first 30 days after the death of a loved one. And those who are observing the Yahrzeit, the anniversary of the death of a loved one, if you wish to please rise. And let me just point out that one of the reasons for our doing this is so that not only does this give the mourners a chance to stand in honor of their loved ones, but it also gives us a chance to see who within our congregational family has experienced a loss. And if you are able to do so, a pat on the shoulder, a hand on the arm as you are leaving will offer more comfort than you might imagine. Let's now all rise as a caring congregation as we repeat the words that have been hallowed by our generations, the Kaddish, which is found on page 294, as we say together, Yit Gadal v'Yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, v'Alma Divrach Hirutei v'Yamlich Malchutei, v'Chayechon v'Yomechon v'Chayedechol Beit Yisrael, v'Agalav Izman Kari v'Yemru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam alamei almaya, Yitbarach v'Yishtabach v'Yitpa'ar v'Yitromam v'Yitnaseh, v'Yitadar v'Yitaleh v'Yitalal Shmei Dekudusha Barichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'alma v'yemru amen. Yehei shalom araba min shemaya v'chayim, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yemru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, huya aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort all the bereaved among us, and let us say together, Amen. You may be seated. As you know, in our tradition, we always move from moments of sadness when we miss our loved ones who, though, nevertheless continue to make an impact on our lives. And we move from sadness to joy. And so right after the mourner's Kaddish, we turn to the Shehechianu and Shehechianu moments, moments of celebration, moments of joy. If anybody would like to tell us something about the joy they're experiencing this past week, to speak out. Suzanne? Seventh birthday tomorrow. Congratulations.
Happy birthday, Judah.
Others? Their birthday today.
Happy birthday, Victoria. Wow. Okay.
And the other Shechianu moments? I always think it's worthwhile for us to pause for a minute. Not quite yet. Yes? On Sunday.
You have a great-granddaughter. You don't look like you have a great-granddaughter.
And Bert Margolis again, 90 years this past Sunday. Lots of things to celebrate. Let's just pause for a moment as we continue to think about what comes next, and then what comes next after that as we rush from one activity to another. Let's pause and just think about, in a moment of silence, how we have been blessed during this past week. I also want to say congratulations to James Stringer, who has been our tech person for most of the last 3 years. He will be leaving us later on, a couple of days, and taking a new full-time position here in Cleveland. And we wish James nothing but the best in the future.
Mazel tov, James.
I'm taking a note on what gets applause.
90 and a new job.
90
Turning
and a new
90.
job. I love it.
And getting a new job when you turn 90 gets extra applause.
Yeah. Not to mention 100.
Well,
Yeah.
okay.
Let's sing the Shehechianu together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
We read in the book of Psalms that wine gladdens the human heart. Let's join together in the Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon lehinchilanu zikaron למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, אותנו קידשת מכל בחרתנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת.
Chaim. Cantor Sibo just asked me if the young people here can come up for the motzi. Let's think about this. We agree. Young people, come forward. Come on, help us with the motzi. Very good, very good.
You're still young.
Oh, great, 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 great.
All right, you ready?
Okay. Motzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together.
As our prayer is humbly said, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Rabbi Klein, while all these beautiful people get some challah, I know what's on your mind right now. It's the last Shabbat of the year, and you're wondering which Adon Olam won the Adon Olamathon.
I was thinking about that this morning.
Tonight, friends, if you've been hanging around here, you know we've been counting down. Tonight is the one that got voted the number one, just eked out Jay Singer's Adon Olam that we did a couple weeks ago. This one is by a composer recently of blessed memory, Uzi Hitman. And once we get cooking on this, I hope you'll sing along with me. Before we do that, I also want to thank Alex Marr for accompanying this evening so beautifully. Thank you, Alex. Let's join together with Adon Olam. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem kol yitzir nivra, le'ed narasa, b'chefzo kol, azay melech shemo nikra, v'acharei kichlot hakol levado, yimloch nora, v'hu haya, v'hu hoveh, v'hu yiyeh b'tifara. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra, le'ed nasa b'chefzo kol azay melech shemo nikra, v'acharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora, v'hu haya v'hu hoveh v'hu yiyeh b'tifara. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra, le'ed nasa b'chefzo kol azay melech shemo nikra, v'acharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora, v'hu haya v'hu hoveh b'tifara, v'hu haya v'hu hoveh b'tifara. Now sing it with us. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra, le'ed nasa b'chefzo kol azay melech shemo nikra, v'acharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora, v'hu haya v'hu hoveh v'hu yiyeh b'tifara. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra, le'ed nasa b'chefzo kol azay melech shemo nikra, v'acharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora, v'hu haya v'hu hoveh b'tifara, v'hu haya v'hu hoveh b'tifara. Thank you for hanging in with the Adon Olamathon.
4 things got applause tonight.
Alex.
We'll conclude with the benediction. Adonai oz le'amo yitain, Adonai varechet amo v'shalom. May the Lord give strength to God's people. May the Lord bless all of God's peoples with the blessings of shalom, of peace. Amen. Shabbat shalom.